Hi there, it's James H UK, and in this video we'll be looking again at the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Having owned it for a week, I'll be giving you 5 likes and dislikes to this very phone. Well, what a week it's been owning the Samsung Galaxy Fold. I'm pleased to tell you after the first week it is still fully working. The front screen works, the inner screen is still fully working, and I'm still loving every single moment with this phone. Still feel it's a premium device, it feels premium, that hinge is still working fine, that satisfying click as it closes. Honestly, there isn't a phone like it at the moment that has been so exciting. But of course, it's new technology, and I'd be lying if I said that there weren't things I disliked about this phone. As with any new technology, there's going to be a learning curve on it, and as with any new technology, there's going to be things that are going to be able to improve. So within this video, we're going to be looking at 5 likes and 5 dislikes of my week using the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Okay, so let's get straight to it. It's in no particular order, but we're going to start with the likes first. So first up on the list of likes then is the front screen. Now I know when Samsung first launched the Galaxy Fold the first time round, which we won't talk about in this video, everyone was complaining about the size of that screen, saying it's far too small, you'll never be able to use it, it's nothing more than checking notifications before opening it out to do your messages. Well, I can tell you, having been used it a week, I've actually surprised myself at the amount of time I've been using that front screen. It is perfectly fine for messages, it is perfectly fine for checking your Facebook feed, it is perfectly fine for Twitter or emails or anything else. If you want to read those messages quickly and reply quickly, it is perfectly fine. Even the keyboard at the bottom, I'd admit, it is quite small, but you do get used to it after a few days of using it. And most of the messages I've been replying to, whether they're text messages, Facebook Messenger, or just general chat in emails and things, I've actually been using that front screen to reply to. So it is perfectly usable, and that does go on the likes list. Now, yes, it could be bigger, yes, the bezels could be gone, but of course, it's a first generation. It is the first time Samsung have released anything like the Fold, and I'm sure on newer versions that screen can only get bigger and better. It's also been quite good in that when you've been out in the public, if you don't want to feel like a nerd that's now got an empty bank balance through buying one of these, then it's actually quite nice. Rather than actually folding it out in public and using it, you can just quite easily use that screen. So that is a good plus point for me. So next on the list then has to be this. It is that big screen there. So much real estate, so many uses that you just never thought you'd need a bigger screen on a phone for. It's absolutely incredible. Now, I must admit, since owning the Galaxy Fold, I've not reached in and grabbed my tablet once. It's been perfect for when I've finished work and browsing through Facebook, the internet, checking up on things, checking emails, watching videos, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Amazon Prime, you name it, it has been done on this phone and on this screen. So it really has made that massive difference. I'm never saying I'll never use my tablet again. It's a slightly bigger tablet than that screen there, so maybe out on jobs and things where I need it for my job, I will still use it. But for general purposes, and most of the time now, this Galaxy Fold has taken the place of the tablet. And I must also admit, the only time I've got my laptop out this past week is to edit the videos for this channel. So it's taken a lot of my laptop away, it's taken a lot of the tablet away, and doing just exactly as I hoped it would do, and being my main device that can be a phone when it needs to be a phone, but when you need that extra little bit of space to do what you need to, that's where it's come in. Of course, there is that concern about that fold, that crease in the middle there. Is it going to get worse? Is it going to kind of deteriorate as time goes on? Well, I can honestly say in the week that I've had this phone, I've not noticed any deterioration at all. It gets opened and closed a lot of times throughout the day and the week, but I've not noticed even kind of running it over with your finger. It doesn't feel any bigger, it doesn't feel any different to the day that I bought the phone. Only time will tell on that, but at the moment it is holding up really well. Likewise, although it is a fragile display, I will speak more about that in the dislikes. but it is safe to say there have been 1 or 2 scratches that are now permanently on there. It doesn't affect viewing, but it is on there. So the screen is both a like and dislike for me. Okay, so up next on that list of likes is battery. Now I have to say, originally when I first bought the phone I was a little bit sceptical on battery life. I kind of presumed with that smaller screen and the big screen I'd be getting around a day out of it, and maybe by the evening I'd be looking for some sort of power point to plug it in and give it a bit of a charge. I'm pleased to report that isn't the case at all. It has been lasting all day and all evening without needing to look for a charge once. Okay, for a phone of this size I find that absolutely incredible. On an average day, for example, I'll be up and out by 8:30. I'll be on site or in the office by 10:30 at the latest. It gets used throughout the day for phone calls, text messages, emails, replying to emails, Facebook, WhatsApp, a cheeky YouTube video or Amazon Prime every now and then as well if I have some spare time or downtime during the day. It is not a light use throughout my day. But by the evening, I'm still getting back at 7 or 8 in the evening with over 50% remaining, which is perfectly fine then for the evening games, YouTubes, Facebook, catching up with friends, that kind of thing. It really is an incredible battery, and how it lasts that long, I do not know. So well done to Samsung for making that happen. Continuing on with the likes then, app continuity is up next. Now I must admit, Samsung and the app community really surprised me with how many apps are actually Samsung Galaxy Fold ready. There's been very few that I've found that haven't been able to go from that first screen into the big screen without having to be restarted. Now there are a couple of specialist apps that I use for the business side of things that aren't compatible yet, such as digital mixer apps and things like that. But to be fair, they were never going to be. But everything you could think of that is mainstream and popular out there happens to work. For example, Facebook, it's on the screen there. Open it up, straight away it's there ready for you to use again. Likewise, when you're typing messages and things, whether it's on Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, normal text messages, you name it, they will literally, as you're typing it, if you want the bigger screen, it will jump over to it. There hasn't been any normal app that I've been able to find that hasn't been able to do it. Now, the one thing I would say about the continuity is you do have to go into the settings if you want to do it the other way around. So if you want to have kind of Facebook, for example, open on that screen to close it up and for it to appear on that screen as it does on my phone now, you have to go into the settings and tell it to do that. Otherwise, it will go from the small screen to the big screen absolutely fine, but it won't go back again. Last but not least then, on my top 5 likes for this, the Samsung Galaxy Fold, and it has to be the cameras. Absolutely amazed by the quality of those cameras, but as I've said in previous videos, that was always going to happen as I'm going from the Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge up to the Samsung Galaxy Fold. And I know the difference is worlds apart in terms of technology. There's been a lot of releases and Samsung have done a lot of work on their cameras since the S6, so I was always going to be amazed by the quality difference. But seriously, having been out and about, some of the quality that you actually see in the photos are just incredible. Having that macro lens with the wide lens and the standard lens as well, it really does give you lots of different options on the photos that you can take at really good quality. On to video then with the Galaxy Fold, and just as with the camera, the quality is impressive by itself. Mixed with that, the audio and the microphone pickup, it's not a tinny little airy little microphone on that. It does give a really nice sound reproduction. To be honest, if we weren't talking and referencing the Samsung Galaxy Fold and keep opening it, closing it as part of this video, I would have recorded the whole series on the Galaxy Fold. That is how impressive it is. It's perfectly fine for doing vlogs if you're out and about and don't want to take a separate video camera or stills camera with you. Likewise, on your holidays or anything like that, the quality you are going to get from the videos and images off of this, your friends are going to want to jump right into the photo and video and be there with you. Speaking of video, I will be doing more videos on the Samsung Galaxy Fold in the near future. So if you would like more videos on the Samsung Galaxy Fold, do make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell button to be notified every time I upload a new video. So that is the final list of likes done with the Samsung Galaxy Fold. I could go on for hours and hours and hours about extra features that I do like. I probably will do more videos. If there is anything specifically you want to know or my opinion on with regards to the Galaxy Fold, then do put a comment down below and I'll be happy to answer those for you either in the comments or a separate video in the near future. So with the likes complete then, let's head on to the 5 dislikes since owning the Samsung Galaxy Fold. First up on the dislike list then, it was number 1 for my like. It's also my number 1 for my dislike, and that is the front of the Galaxy Fold. Not specifically the screen itself. As I explained in my likes, it is perfectly usable and I do use it throughout the day for a lot of messages, replies, viewing, that kind of thing. Sometimes when you don't need that big real estate in the centre there, you can do it off of the front screen there. So it's not the screen specifically, but the overall look and feel of the front of that Galaxy Fold. Those big bezels make it look dated. It doesn't give you the premium feel that you really feel this phone should have, and for what it costs, you want that premium feel throughout. So I'm hoping in Generation 2, Generation 3, Generation 4 of the Galaxy Fold that does get addressed. Even if they have to make the whole phone bigger to accommodate that, we know there's a bit of room in the pocket to make that front screen bigger. So why not have a bigger front screen with a bigger inside screen as well? I'm sure it will happen. It is early days for the Fold series and I'm excited to see what Samsung come out with next with regards to that. Second on my list of dislikes then for the Samsung Galaxy Fold since owning it for 1 week is this. That is the layout. Now, not specifically talking about the front screen and the center screen and everything else, but the layout in general, such as the placement of buttons, speakers and everything else. Now, using the phone upright on the small screen is perfectly fine. Everything is reachable by your thumb and fingers. No issues there. You've got a speaker at the top and a speaker at the bottom, so the audio is perfectly fine. The power is where you'd expect it on the bottom with that USB-C. Plugging your headphones would go through that as well. The microphone is on the bottom, your earpiece is on the top. So that side of things isn't a problem. Where I do have the problem is once it's opened out. And again, not specifically using the phone upright. That is absolutely fine. Taking photos, everything is where it needs to be. It's not a problem at all. Where I do have the problem is in this example here. If I press the play button, so you've probably read there's a video playing. I'm just going to turn that down for this example. Again, when you're using it that way around, absolutely fine. You can hold it with one hand, you can watch things, you can turn it up and down. It is all absolutely fine using it that way. The problem I tend to find, being right-handed to hold the phone, is when you expand it, it spins. So you spin it that way so that it's upright again, which again, perfectly fine. Hold the phone that is natural so that when you're actually watching it, it's held in the bottom, it's not going to fall out of your hand. And again, there isn't a problem other than this. When it's that way round, which is the way it automatically spins, your speakers are on the bottom, and it's the same on that side. So on both sides that are on the bottom, so when your hand's holding it in front of you, which is nice and comfortable with your right hand, you're actually covering over a speaker. It's exactly the same if you hold it in your left hand, you're covering one of the speakers. Now I know what you're thinking, why not just turn it upside down? It's perfectly fine that way around. The video spins around and you can watch it. The problem you then have is that your power button and volume buttons, when you hold it in your right hand, are then on the bottom, and things like that happen, which is where the power button comes up, where your finger just accidentally touches the bottom. That gets quite annoying when you're trying to watch a video. Again, a way around it might be just hold it in your left hand, and again then it does alter the issue altogether. Your speakers are at the top and you can happily watch it like that. I just feel more comfortable with it held in my right hand. The other problem, if you are right-handed, is that again you're then putting smudges and smears all over the cameras as they're in the bottom right hand side there. So it is a bit of an issue for me. It is one of the dislikes I'm finding. Again, there's a way around it. Hold it in your left hand, get used to holding it in your left hand, and it's perfectly fine. You're far enough away from any of the buttons for it to cause any issues. But again, it is a little thing that took me a while to get used to. Now this next dislike isn't about the phone specifically, so I can fold that up and put that one to one side, but it is to do with the Galaxy Fold and the fact it is so new. And I dare say it's got a little bit to do with all the issues from the original launch back at the start of the year. Now the Samsung Galaxy Fold came out here in the UK on the 18th of September. It wasn't really until a week later that people started to actually receive their Samsung Galaxy Folds. Now, as you'll know, if you're here in the UK, EE is the sole provider at the moment of the Galaxy Fold. Their insurance does not cover the Samsung Galaxy Fold, and they don't plan, at the time of this video anyway, of providing an insurance package as part of their deal. Now this isn't too much of an issue in that as part of the Samsung Care Plus package, if you register within 30 days of buying a Galaxy Fold, you will get a year's free insurance, which will cover accidental damage and damage of any of the screens, or whether it's the inside screen or the outside screen or any of the components, for an excess of £100 or £115, I think. So that is absolutely amazing. You can replace your screen once throughout the 12 months and only have to pay the excess. So from that side of things, you're covered. What you aren't covered through the Samsung Care Plus package is for theft or losing your phone. So if someone steals it and wanting it for themselves, or if you place it down and can't find it anywhere and hunt high and low for a week or two, as silly as that may sound, as you're always going to have it in your hand because it costs so much, that is not covered by the Care Plus package. Now there are websites out there that do offer insurance for mobile phones, tablets, laptops and that kind of thing, but in my searches so far the only ones I've found that are offering insurance are being charged at around £18 per month. Okay, on top of your line rental and everything else, which is already quite high as it's a new product, £18 on top is quite an expensive option. Now it may be that I've missed some of the insurance companies that are doing it for less, and if I have and you know of an insurance policy that is less than £18 a month which covers theft and loss of phone for any reason, as well as accidental damage or damage of any type, then please do pop it in the comments below, as I'd love to hear from you, because I think £18 a month for the insurance on the phone is quite expensive really. So that is the next dislike I have, so let's move on to another dislike. I know what you're thinking, how can a screen that big with that quality at that size on a folding phone be in the dislike list? And for that I tend to agree somewhat, but I'll explain why now. The screen itself, absolutely amazing. Whatever you show on it, whether it be photos, videos or any content at all, will always look amazing on that phone. It still gives the wow factor every time I look at it. But why it's in the dislike list is for this one reason and one reason only, and that is durability and reliability. Technically two, but it's one combined, okay? And that is everything you do when you have that screen open, you are always concerned of, are you going to damage it? How are you going to damage it? Is it going to stop any of the pixels working? Now, in the last week I've had it, I've been out on business, I've used it for calls, I've used it to take photos, I've been in environments that are in escape rooms, in events, inside, outside, and to be fair, I've still used it as a normal phone, and it is still working. So from a reliability point of view, it's got a big tick. That being said, it has, within a week, got a permanent scratch on the bottom edge of the screen. Now, it doesn't affect the operation, the touchscreen is still working, there are no dead pixels or anything, and when you've got content on the screen or anything on the screen at all, you will be hard pressed to see the scratch at all. But if you turn the phone off and just bounce it into the light, as I have there, then you can see in the bottom section there is a very small permanent scratch that will not gently rub out or do anything with it. Now, only being a week old, it does concern me a little bit in that what's it going to be like in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 1 year's time? Is any of this scratching going to affect the phone itself? So far it hasn't, and I will be keeping an eye on it, but durability is still a major concern of mine. It's no reason not to get the phone. As I said, at the end of the day, if you look after it, it should be fine, but I still have no idea how that one scratch got in there. So that is why the screen is in the dislike section as well as the like section. So let's move on to the final dislike so far in using this phone for the first week. Onto the final dislike then in this video of 5 likes and dislikes since owning the Galaxy Fold for a week. And the dislike is this, that is the on-screen buttons. Now don't get me wrong, I know every single manufacturer throughout the whole entire world has pretty much gone over to on-screen buttons as opposed to physical buttons, and the Galaxy Fold is no exception to that. But I do find it's a lot easier as you're typing and as you're using the phone with the on-screen buttons to accidentally hit that home button, accidentally hit that back button, or open up the other buttons as well. It is so easy to do, not just on the Galaxy Fold, admittedly it is on other phones as well, but when you've got fat fingers like mine and fat thumbs like mine, as you're trying to type and things, it is quite easy for your thumb and the kind of bits of fat and stuff underneath or muscle underneath there to accidentally hit the back button. So there's been many times where I've been typing or where I've been doing something in an app and then it's hit back or hit the home button by accident. So that is the downside to the Galaxy Fold, but it is not only to the Galaxy Fold, it's also to on-screen buttons in general. Now I know you can move the buttons on the Galaxy Fold from the center to one side or to the other. But it does seem to be a bit of an issue if you're using it two-handed, as you generally need to on the bigger screen. It's going to be a problem wherever you move it to. I'm sure that's more user error, and I'm sure it's just me being clumsy, and over time I will get used to it, but that has been a little bit of an issue over the first week so far. While we're talking about buttons as well, screen capture. Now it does get a little bit fiddly on the Galaxy Fold, which is easier said than done. You do have to push the volume down button and the power button at the same time. And because it's such a big screen, you do really need to do it with two hands. You can try and do it with one hand, but a lot of the time it just doesn't work. So what I found is if you steady the phone with one hand, you've then got your thumb that can get between the two buttons and it takes a snapshot. Now on the older Galaxy S6 Edge that I was used to, you used to have to push it down and hold it for a second or two before it would take the screenshot. With the Samsung Galaxy Fold, you don't have to do that. It's pretty much instant, and you can hit both buttons with two different thumbs, or you can try and do it with one thumb. But either way, it does the snapshot for you. Having said that, I think that's more of a user getting used to it rather than a main kind of gripe with the phone. So that's just a little added on to the on-screen display bit for the final dislike. So that was the 5 likes and dislikes since owning the Galaxy Fold for a week. Now I know what you're probably dying to ask, and that is, do I still think I've made the right decision jumping feet first into this new technology and the new concept that's gone into making the Samsung Galaxy Fold? Well, just a week on, I can categorically tell you yes, yes, yes with the cherry on top and some more. I still am amazed by this phone every single day I use it and every single time I fold it out. It is an incredible phone for a first generation phone, and yes, it is consumer ready. Now I'd be lying, as I've said earlier in the video and previous videos, if I didn't have concerns over the durability of this inside screen, but only time is going to tell on that. So stick with us here on the channel, as I will be doing more videos on the Galaxy Fold as we go through a week, a month, a year. As long as this phone is working, I'll be making videos on it and letting you know how I'm getting on with the phone. So if you have enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to be notified every time I upload a video. Speaking of future videos, then I will be doing a series on the Samsung DeX and using it with the Galaxy Fold, and seeing whether I can use the Galaxy Fold with DeX as my main communication device and my main office machine for a week. So if you do want to hear about that, then please do subscribe and hit the bell icon. Likewise, I'll be doing a review of this, an amazing little portable Bluetooth keyboard with trackpad attachment to it. It works really well with Galaxy Fold, and I'll be looking to see how well it works with DeX as well. So if you're interested in all that, as I said, do make sure you hit the subscribe button, you hit that like button, and you hit that bell notification to be notified every time I upload. I've been James HUK. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.